we are now on week 2 of our Boost Pros class. For this session, we will be tackling about business processes and business functions. So it's a series of lectures, to be honest. So let's begin. Okay, let me give you a short introduction on what business process is. So business process is defined as a collection of activities that takes input and creates an output that is of value to the customer. Say, for example, we have here a food chain. Let's call it Jollibee. So Jollibee, they give services, products, like the famous Chicken Joy. Okay? So let's say, for example, you want to grab a bite. You want some Chicken Joy. So you order. And then, of course, you pay. And then you get your food. So for this one, this tree is already a collection of activities. When you order, Jollibee takes an input. When you pay, there is a process ongoing. So you need to pay in order for Jollibee to create an output, which is your food. Now, the value of the food is the amount you paid for. Okay, so that is business process. Now, what is ERP program? So ERP means Enterprise Resource Planning. So these are core software used by companies to coordinate information in every area of the business. So going back to our Jollibee example, so when you take an order, the cashier enters your input into its ERP program. Now, what you order appears on the production, or let's say the kitchen, so that they can create your Chicken Joy. So once you pay, they issue you a receipt, and then the kitchen gives the cashier the food for you to have it. So if you can see, there is a sharing of information between the three activities ongoing. So it means that ERP program centralizes all the data. So what can the ERP program do? They help manage business processes, and they use common database and shared management reporting tools. Right? Okay. Moving on. Let's have a look at the functional areas and business processes. For you to be able to understand what ERP is, you must first understand how a business works. This is easy for you because in a day-to-day basis, we deal with business. So let's have a look at the functional areas of operation and business processes. We'll try to differentiate that to next. So what are the functional areas of operation? So when we say functional, so this is how they function. So in a business, the different functional areas includes marketing and sales, supply chain management, accounting and finance, human resources. So these are the four basic. So in order for a business to go on, move on, conduct transactions, they need these four. So with these areas of operation, we have the business function. So business functions are activities specific to a functional area of operation. So business function is an activity specific to marketing and sales, to supply chain management, to accounting and finance, and to HR. So these are examples of the business functions involved in different areas of operation. Let's have a look at examples. So I'm going to discuss the first example for the four. So for marketing and sales, we have the marketing of a product. So this is a business function for the marketing and sales. So in order for a product to be known, they have to market it. So it's an example. So next, for supply chain management, we have the purchasing of goods and raw materials. So what the supply management they act as, so they buy raw materials in order for the production to move on. For accounting and finance, so they have the financial accounting of payments. So when the supply chain management purchase the goods, the accounting and finance pay for it. Now for the human resources, this tree wouldn't be working if there were no employees. So the human resources is involved with the recruiting and hiring of people who will do these functions. Okay? So the next few cells are more examples. So have a go. Moving on. So the functional areas are also interdependent, which means one area cannot function without the other. So let's go back here. So supply chain management cannot purchase goods and raw materials without accounting and finance, because accounting and finance holds the money. Now supply chain management cannot purchase goods and raw materials without the go signal of the marketing and sales, because the marketing and sales, they do sales forecasting, which enables the supply chain management to schedule productions. Okay? And of course, without human resources, nothing. They wouldn't be working. No one will do the job. Okay? Next, with a better integration of the functional area, it could lead to an improvement in communication, workflow, and of course, the success of a company. So what's the best way to integrate these functional areas? It's through the use of an information system. Business moves through information. So with an information system, it integrates the areas. So what is an IS? So these are the computers, people, procedures, as well as software that store, organize, and deliver information. Okay? Now, as we have discussed the functional areas, let's move on to business process. So this is really the bigger picture of a business. The functional areas is let's say like a small part of the organization each. With business process, it is as a whole. Okay? In terms, when managers think of business process, it helps them look at the organization from a customer's perspective. Now, let's have a look at the business processes related to the sale of a personal computer. Okay, let's say that we want to buy a computer, so you request to purchase. Now, the people at the front line is the marketing and sales. So what they do, they process a sales order, and then an order is generated. The customer is not yet buying here, so they just process a sales order. Now, after that, when a customer pays, a receipt is issued, then the product is given. So that is an example. So have a go on the others, okay? Now, with business processes, as owners, businesses must always consider a customer's viewpoint. So, we have a saying that the customer is always right. So this is what most businesses treat customers, though not all. Okay, with business processes, there's also always a successful customer interaction. How does it happen? When a customer inquires to buy something, and it goes on to that he really buys it, so it is a successful customer interaction. Okay. Successful business managers also view business operations from the perspective of a satisfied customer. That's why there are surveys conducted. They want to see if a customer is satisfied. If a customer is not satisfied, there would be problems inside the process of the company. So the managers will have a look at it and improve their processes. Okay. With business process also, we have the sharing of data. It must be effective and efficient. Because with effective and efficient sharing of data, it would always lead to efficient business processes. Now, as you can see here, we added an integrated in the information systems. So here, it is defined as systems in which functional areas share data. So the marketing and sales, the supply chain management, there is data sharing. Now, businesses also takes inputs and transforms these inputs into goods and services for customer. So when a customer buys Chicken Joy, the Jollibee transform this input into a real Chicken Joy. Okay? So managing inputs and business processes effectively requires also an accurate and up-to-date information. So it must be real time. Otherwise, there would be delays and disastrous things that could happen. Okay? So if you don't have any questions, going to proceed with the next session.